What's good, YouTube? Steel here, and welcome to the 4th of 8 expert solo battles. This time around, we're taking on Lanturn EX. Disclaimer, just like the whole Lugia video, this will be tackling only the beating it with water only, as well as 3 diamonds or less. The no trainer challenge will be coming in a separate video, as I thought putting it all together into one challenge would be a little bit too much. Regardless, that video should be up very soon. As always, I'd like to ask y'all to please consider subscribing, as we post all things Pokemon Pocket, and we're getting ever closer to our first major milestone of 1,000 subscribers, and I couldn't do it without every single one of y'all. As well as feel free to join the Discord, which will be linked down below. With that said, let's break down Lanturn EX, which unfortunately for us is rather competent deck, but luckily for us, it has some glaring weaknesses that withholds it from being like too strong. The elephant in the room is the fact that Lanturn EX isn't like meta relevant. It's not killing it in tournaments or anything like that, so it kind of like there's a reason for it, and in my opinion, I think it's speed. Yes, in a perfect world, they could set up turn 2 like sort of like an Arceus deck. They could go like baby, like if they're going second, baby charge Chinchou and give it the energy, and then the following turn they're just already swimming with Lanturn, and that could be tough. However, that's already more pieces, moving pieces than Arceus does. They need to have the Lanturn, they need to have the evolution. I mean, Chinchou, Lanturn, the baby lead. Like, as you can see, they could kind of struggle, right? They have multiple ways of getting there, but whether it's the lack of consistency or just the limitations of the AI, they seem to struggle to establish it fast enough. Regardless, it's important to note that the deck is geared solely on building up Lanturn EX. As you can see, Pichu, Zeraora with the Elemental Switch, and X-Speed are all methods of not only producing energy but transferring it as well as conserving it. They then close it out with double will to guarantee that Lanturn will paralyze your Pokemon, as well as Sabrina to swap out whatever's in the back line. Although I'm not really fully convinced that that's like the proper card to play in this list, but they just threw it in there. It's something they have to respect for sure. Like, you can't just leave like your Pokemon in the back line, whatever your finisher is or whatever you're building up. You can't just leave it alone in the back, because they could Sabrina bring it back up and then you have like no answers. All things considered though, this list would be difficult to take down if it weren't for a brand new strategy introduced in Wisdom of Sea and Sky, which is Gyarados. Gyarados is not only able to deal massive damage that can essentially one-shot Lanturn with the right setup, you know, if you have Geo alongside a full bench, but can also like adjust your damage according to what you need to knock out, so you don't lose all your resources at once. The idea is pretty straightforward. You get to Gyarados, fill the bench, do as much damage as necessary to knock out the Pokemon in front of you, and then use Fisher and Net to repeat the process as many times as it takes to win the game. Big Malasada is a necessity, because unless you have the perfect setup of a full bench with Geo, Lanturn is more likely than not going to paralyze you, and you need to get rid of it in order to attack and finish off the Lanturn. The reason I use Malasada over PCL is because you're able to use Malasada as well as a supporter like Fisher to add back the Pokemon that PCL would take up both slots. And not to mention that the extra 20 HP that PCL is providing doesn't move the needle at all. They'll still knock you out if you don't find it, right? Like, you just need it in order to finish up the job. So it doesn't, whether it's 10 HP or 30, what matters is removal of the status condition. Geo serves multiple purposes. One, it allows Pyukumuku to knock out a Pichu, as well as allows Gyarados to take out Chinchou with just one Pokemon sacrifice, or as we mentioned before, if you have a full bench plus Geo, you get to knock out Lanturn. And then Cyrus is there for if they try to retreat once you hit the Lanturn. But in all honesty, that's like the one slot in the deck that it feels like a flex spot. You could put anything you feel is necessary. If you don't like Cyrus, you could put extra, I don't know, maybe an extra PCL or more PComs or an extra basic Pokemon, so that the Gyarados has a higher chance of having a full bench. Personally, Cyrus worked for me, but I do feel like even in the games where Cyrus closed it out, it just sped out the inevitable. Like, I think I was going to win regardless. It's just a matter of like, oh, since I have Cyrus, we win right now. As always, stick around for the gameplay to showcase the deck in action. I hope this video helps you, and above all else, stay pro. All right, going first, which I don't think is ideal, but it could be worse, right? Because let's say if we went second, they could have Zeraora and immediately attack, but also Magikarp gets to bounce away. I don't know. It's not the worst thing. There's definitely matchups where going first is worse, right? Oh, you see, like here, never mind. This is a perfect example of why going first is some buns right now. I'm not gonna give up because, excuse me, technically there's still a chance, right? Like, yeah, they're gonna get the point on the Magikarp. Grabbing another Magikarp kind of feels troll, but it is what it is. We do already have Gyarados. We have Net, which is why I didn't care about, like, oh, this Magikarp would fall, we just grab it back with Net, but let's see. I guess if we win this one, it's a good example of like how good this deck is at beating this challenge, right? Because it's like the worst start. We're going first, and they knocked out our magic. They got a point immediately. They do play Elemental Switch, so they could have a Lanturn swinging at full power next turn already. Alright, lead Corsola. If they for some reason have Sabrina, I think it forces us to do this now. Yeah, so far not going too well, right? I guess there's a world where we could have gone Gyarados and tanked the hit, go Malasada. If we had the extra Pokemon that would have put like the Gyarados up, maybe I would have considered it, right? Interesting. Okay. Well, we would have missed anyways, but yeah, there was a world where leaving Gyarados, just evolving and leaving it up front might have been the play. Let's go find a friend. I was about to say, if it was a Gyarados, that's probably like worst case scenario. We are really hoping for a basic off the top. We have 2 Pokeballs. No, we've used the Pokeball, right? Another thing to note is that they do play why am I blanking? Sabrina, but luckily Gyarados like gets rid of your bench most of the time. Alright, so we're just really hoping for a Pokemon here so that we could match it up with perfect. There you go. Yeah, so now we're able to go Geo, which puts us right over 150, right? I mean, puts us at 150. I apologize. And now we just need Fisher to hit two names. And even then... Actually, yeah, we need him to hit 2 names because Zero Aura hit 2 shots as Gyarados. Although, again, we could draw... Technically, in the deck, we have 1 more Corsola and a Pokeball. But yeah, realistically, we just need Fisher to hit 2 names. That's actually such a beautiful draw. Granted, this is like, if Fisher goes 1 for 3, the Corsola was necessary. But if we go here and hit multiple names, then it didn't matter, right? Alright, Fisher making sure there's nothing of like, oh, he got lucky, blah, 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 blah. Granted, the Fisher inherently is luck as well. We just need to put the 2. Wait. No. Oh my god. I didn't notice that he had cape on. That's so bad. It's a perfect example and I just punted it. I'm gonna keep it in because y'all could clearly see, had I just put the 3rd name, we would have won. I just... whatever. Even the teacher could mess up sometimes. Whatever. It is what it is. It's an L, but y'all can see how it was a win, right? I just completely punted it. I didn't look up for 2 seconds to see that there was a cape, but whatever. It's a loss, but it's also like you saw how bad we started and we still were able to win. And let's ignore the fact that I punted it, right? Let's go into a second example where I won't punt it. All right, now let's lock in for a real example. Granted, we're still going first, which is not ideal, but much better to hide behind Corsola, right? Double Pichu, Zero Aura. Much better for us, I guess. Like, there's no other way of like describing that. All right, let's go Pokeball. Corsola luckily could find Gyarados, by the way. It's not a basic, the only thing it searches. Regardless, we'll keep the second one in hand just in case we draw Pokemon Communication as a chance to find the Gyarados. Another thing is double Malasada, or however you pronounce that thing, might not be necessary per se. Like, you really just need the one for when you attack Lanturn, they hit you, then you're able to clear the status condition. But it's more of a, we need to see it, like it's a necessary like evil. But yeah, we could afford a Corsola once because at max they're hitting for 70, which is why Corsola is fine. Another option that we could play, I guess I probably mentioned it in the deck profile, is Quillfish, because Quillfish has the ability, the fact that it's ADHP, so it also tanks the hit from Zero Aura, but also has 20 damage plus poison. So it's able to knock out like a Pichu if they have it up front. But now in this case, they're definitely the ones with the bad hand. And as we saw, the Corsola got us the card we needed. So let's go, whoops, evolve here, set it up for next turn, drop a Corsola. We have fishing nets to grab it anyways, so yeah. Here we want to see a basic, right? There it is. And that's not game over because obviously we need 3 points, but without a Lanturn in sight, I don't really see any danger really. Let's just remember to punt the right number of Pokemon this time, huh? Alright, there's another Gyarados. Let's go net. Next turn we'll Fisher. We'll send all 3. For 1. Obviously we overdid it, but we need to. So the same thing doesn't happen as last game. And now all we have to deal with is these Pichus. Granted, the second they see Lanturn, they kind of have a play there, but I guess Chinchou, I mean, not Lanturn. But again, we can't control what they draw. What you could see is how the deck's supposed to work. Here we go, Fisher. We just need 1 heads to get the knockout. Anything above that is just fuel for the following turns. This is amazing. Corsola, Puku. We could fuel Puku, I guess. It doesn't really matter. We just need to send 1 away for the 60. And again, another thing that Geo does is that Gyarados could knock out a Pichu without having to sacrifice a Pokemon, but realistically, Geo's biggest function is so like Pyukumuku could knock out a Pichu early, or as we saw in the other game, we just maxed out Gyarados to 140, and then the extra 10 from Geo lets us knock out Lanturn. I guess technically it helps us knock out Chinchou too, like 1 Pokemon plus the Geo is also a knockout there. But yeah, this is GG's. And you can see we basically won in deciding factor both games. I'm aware that I punted the first one, but you know, it happens, I guess, to everybody. So I'm not gonna like replay or pretend like that didn't happen. That's full transparency. I built the deck, I tweaked it a little bit like off screen, and I played 2 back-to-back games that you saw that despite us going first, despite the first game going as poorly as it could, we had winning positions / we should have won both games quite easily. And that's what matters, and that's what I try to present to y'all. So hopefully this deck works for y'all. Any questions or suggestions, feel free to comment down below. I felt like using Gyarados because it's from the brand new set, and I felt kind of bad where I kept using decks from like the past. Granted, the Macargo, we already used Macargo. I tried to use Kling Klang and it didn't work out. And this Gyarados is probably the best that I've built so far. Not in the sense of like, oh, I'm a genius, look, I made Gyarados. It's just for the challenge of the solo battle. Gyarados definitely cleaned house. So again, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and above all else, stay pro.